5 years ago, I did a review on Philips Warm Glow Filament style LED lights. Let's see how they're performing 5 years later. What we're looking at here is we're looking at my 5-year-old. Yes, they will be 5 years old at the end of the month. So right now we're at August the 18th, and I think it was like August 29th or something that I did the first video on the Philips Warm Glow lamps. Got a cat that's interrupting me here. I just wanted to do a little quick video to show the performance that we've been getting out of these lamps, because it has not been stellar. So how these lamps operate is they have, these are warm glow, and I did just clean the lenses, so they're all covered in dust after 5 years. I took them all off and cleaned them, so they look nice and shiny clean for the video. But basically how these operate is they operate with two independent lamps in them. They're temperature changing lamps, so they have a higher temperature when they're on bright, and when you dim them down, the brighter filaments will dim and the lower temperature, like color temperature, will start to light. So as I run the dimmer down, and I'm gonna do this again with the iris lowered down here, but as you see, they dim down and they try to mimic an incandescent bulb. I'll show you this again with the iris closed down so you can see the phenomenon that's happening, and then I'll show you some of the other ones. These three are still okay for now, but two of my others, there were 6 lamps bought at the same time. If I pan the camera over to the other side, you'll see these ones here look noticeably dimmer, even at full brightness. You see the difference in the brightness between the two of them. These ones are not achieving full brightness, and that's because the bright filaments are not working. So here's the lamp at full brightness with the iris closed down and the ND filters and so forth on the camera. And as I dim it, you'll see what happens. That other filament, the warmer temperature filament, lights up, and then that runs down when you dim the lamp down. This is normal operation. They have two separate sets of LEDs. One that's a warmer color temperature and one that's a cooler color temperature, so that they can mimic an incandescent lamp being dimmed. And they actually do a very good job. I've been quite happy with the color temperature. When you dim them, they look real. Now let's take a look at the ones that have failed. As you will notice, and I have not made any changes to the camera setting. You see, if I pan the camera over, here's the brightness of these lamps. Pan the camera over, you'll notice that these lamps are noticeably dimmer. And this is because the high color temperature for the brighter light filaments have failed. Watch when I dim them down. You see? No handoff. The other lamps, you can see the brighter ones just trying to glow, but they're never going to kick in. 2 of them have failed. Third one, this one's also on its way out. As you can see when I try to dim it. It's still, the brighter filaments are still working on this lamp, but they're starting to go. When they failed, this one here, actually you can see, they are glowing, but they're not completely glowing. It looks like there's a, well, it's not a segment that's out, that's actually an air bubble in the glass. But as we dim this one here down, again, you see, the bright ones, the dim ones are, the warmer temperature are not extinguishing like they should. They're staying lit, but the higher temperature are not reaching their potential when you brighten it up to full, which it is now. And as they dim it, just the warmer temperature LEDs are remaining lit. Anyway, I just wanted to do another review. As I say, I've had them for 5 years. They're past the 3-year warranty. They, of course, have a 3-year warranty. Yeah, they lasted 3 years, but they're not even 5 years old. And I think I posted in the comments on the original video a couple months back that a couple of the lamps have started flickering. What started happening initially was the brights started to flicker. And they'd be flickering on and off. It was driving us crazy. It was like having a strobe light on when they were cranked up to full. And then a few weeks later, they just went out completely. And now I've basically got dim bulbs, and I'm going to have to go buy some new ones. And what these cost, they're not like 50 cents a piece like some of the cheap LEDs. These are actually quite expensive. So I'm quite disappointed that they didn't last the 20,000 hours or whatever they were rated at, or 50,000 hours or whatever these things were rated at. They've not lasted anywhere near how long they should have lasted, because these are not heavily used. Okay, these are used in my dining room. They're used for maybe 2 hours a day, if that. Basically, when I'm sitting down at the table to have dinner, they get turned on, and occasionally if we're reading something, reading the newspaper or something, they'll get turned up bright. But the rest of the time, they're not used. They're not even used in dim mode, right? We don't run the lights dim. They're either on or reduced brightness, like at dinner time, but they're not running a lot. It's not like these things are running all day long. They get hour, maybe 2 hours a day maximum. And I think for the premium that I paid to buy name brand bulbs, I think they should have lasted a lot longer than that. I have some compact fluorescent. I know people love to pick on compact fluorescent bulbs. I have some compact fluorescent bulbs now that are 20 years old, actually older than 20 years old, but we'll say 20 years. 20-year-old compact fluorescent bulbs that are still working. Now granted, some of them have failed, for sure, if they're in a totally enclosed fixture, for example. But for the most part, most of them have lasted a long time. So I expected that these were going to last. These actually replaced, and I've still got them. I had dimmable CFL bulbs in here before that were in for 10 years at least. And I've still got them, and they still work. They were replaced with these because they change color when you dim them. Anyway, just figured I would do a follow-up on the Philips Warm Glow and the longevity. 4 years. I expect that these ones probably are going to go too, because the other there was 6 of them, 2 of them have gone, 4 of them are still working. I expect these ones will probably fail at some point in the not too distant future. Anyway, thanks for watching.